Hey, Alan, how's it going today?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Is this still a good time to ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Well, can you tell the listeners a bit about the new book, Prince Before the Rain? I know you definitely had a relationship with Prince that not many other people had over the years.
Right. We were more friends than say client, photographer relationship. But it didn't start off that way. I mean, he saw some work I did, and I started off as a fashion photographer, and then he saw some fashion work I did and called me up at my studio and said, I want to book you for 3 days. And, I just quietly said, well, how about $150 an hour? And he said, sure, And he goes, well, I'm Prince. I'm from Warner Brothers. And I could, because his voice was kind of deeper. I was used to that falsetto voice on Soft and Wet is when I first heard him. And his second album wasn't out yet, that had I Want to Be Your Lover and I Feel For You and Why You Want to Hurt Me So Bad, that kind of thing. And so he came into my studio right when that was going to be released, and then I shot the star poster, which is on the cover of the book, and that's the first thing we shot. And he came into my studio the next day to look at the film, and he said it was really bad, and I went, oh no, I'm going to lose this client. And he goes, no, it's really bad, which bad at that time meant good. So, I got to shoot him again and again. And then he asked me to do his Dirty Mind album cover, and I go, I'd love to, And then he told me he wanted to be shot on a bed. And so I found this recycling shop that had, this bare bed, just bed springs, no fabric on it, of course. And then they made a design out of it, so it just looked really cool. So I put him in front of it and shot him that way, and he loved it. So we were kind of like on the same page then.
Yeah, the pictures in the book are incredible, and it seems like Prince really owed a lot to you for helping shape his image. I know it was real early on in his career, and you kind of had a lot to do with that, I feel like.
Yeah, we did work on his image a lot, and I think we both kind of had a hand in that, I guess. I mean, he'd get the clothes, and then I think what he liked about what I did photographing him was I wasn't your typical photographer going, yeah, baby, yeah, do that, yeah, It was mostly, why don't you bring that shoulder this way, bring your head this way. So I'd more art direct him and pose him rather than just shoot, you know what I mean? So I tried to make him look as good as he possibly could, So, yeah, I think it was kind of both of us that built an image, because before that, I Want to Be Your Lover album, just with I call it the blue-green album. With the blue album, he just had a headshot, and I just didn't think that showed his music at all. I mean, it didn't show his sexuality, it didn't show his, what he was all about. And then from Dirty Mind on, I think at least we were getting the message out there that, this guy was different. Prince was a different kind of musical guy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems, Alan, like, the stuff you guys were doing and the way you were taking the photos, not only helped with Prince's image, but, really kind of changed the way everyone's image was portrayed since then, I feel like.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I mean, now with CDs, it's not as shocking as it was with the 12-inch LPs back in the day, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
And, and that's the other thing. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have cell phones. So things weren't as easy as they are today. Like when I shot them on tour, I had to find out what lab would do film, and, I couldn't internet it. I couldn't look on the internet. I couldn't look on my cell phone. I had to actually look in the yellow pages. I know nobody uses those now, but it's just funny how time changes things and technology changes things. But, I was shooting real film with a real camera with, And back then, those things wore a ton. So when he took me on tour, I had a camera bag that weighed probably 80 pounds. As today, you could probably get away with, duped up iPhone or, a mirrorless camera with a light lens on it, and you could get what you want. But back then, it was harder.
Well, and with all that being said, with a guy like Prince, that would make it tenfold, I imagine. He seems like the kind of guy who, it might be difficult to capture moments because he's always kind of changing his mind or maybe calling you at 3 a.m. and always keeping you moving.
Well, yeah, that's the kind of guy he was. I mean, when he got up around 3 when he wasn't on tour. And, our photo shoots would be from like 10 p.m. till 1 in the morning, just to do some test shooting or whatever. As long as it wasn't an album cover or something that was going to be a poster, it was a short shoot, so we'd just do like maybe 6 to 10 rolls of film on them. But if it was an album cover, then it'd be like 40 rolls, and then I'd be up all night. But I had regular clients. I mean, I had a regular photo business in Minneapolis at the time, so I don't think he realized that, I had a day job. Sometimes I'd have people booked at 8 the next morning when I was shooting prints late at night. So you can see how hard that would be to, structure your career. But Prince definitely came first. I mean, I knew he was going to, be somebody. I mean, not just somebody with one hit or anything like that. I knew he was going to, be somebody, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and again, the book Prince Before the Rain is out now, and so many maybe casual fans focus on that Purple Rain period, but I mean, obviously, the stuff covered in the book and the time leading up to that was really what set the stage for him to break out when he was really doing a lot of stuff that a lot of other people were maybe afraid to try.
Exactly. He definitely had an image, and and that's maybe something for young singers to. I think the book would help out like that. That's how young singers can make a statement and then become, like a Prince or a Beyonce or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and you mentioned Prince being more of a friend than somebody you worked for, and you could obviously sense during that time he was going to be somebody, as you said. But did you imagine, 40 years later, he would be, maybe one of 2 or 3, icons that people are still revering as much as they do?
Well, no, not then. I mean, back then he was just a kid, and I mean, I was a little older, but not that much older. And it's amazing how much trust he put in me and his band. I mean, understand, we were just back then. You got to, Prince was probably 19 years old, and I think I was like 29, and we were just kids, and it was amazing how far he went. It is amazing that he's that iconic today. But he deserves it. I mean, he really does.
Well, I got to ask you, I know you were one of the few people that saw it firsthand from the stage when Prince opened for the Rolling Stones. I've talked to Dr. Fink, and I've talked to a few other people on the band over the years, and a lot of them, I think, maybe saw that as I don't know if that was a turning point for Prince, maybe that he had to step it up a notch, maybe.
Well, I think if anything came out of that, it made him a better musician. I mean, and I think this is something you can tell anybody that even if you're Prince, you can be down, but how do you get back up? You come back better, stronger, and he made his best work after that. Imagine if that didn't happen, So I think it made him stronger, and I think you can say that to a lot of people that, don't be down. I mean, something's always going to happen in your life. You're going to get knocked down. Something's going to happen that you're not planning for, and but that doesn't mean it's over, man. You can come back. So that's a good lesson.
Well, I know you guys eventually went your separate ways, before the whole Purple Rain thing hit. What was your reason for leaving? Was it just because you had so many other duties besides Prince you had to get to?
Well, yeah, that was part of it. I mean, I was getting calls from everywhere, and because in that short period of time that I worked with him, I did so many album projects with him. I mean, I did 3 albums of him, 2 albums of the time, and Vanity 6, all like in, a 7-year period. And my name being on the album. In fact, he didn't even credit me for doing the album 1999, the sleeves with the neon and stuff. He didn't even credit me for that because he thought I was getting bigger than he was, which I think is funny today, but at the time it was kind of weird not to get the photo credit. I think he just said, "Thanks, Al, for being my pal," or something like that. It wasn't like photos by Alan Beaulieu. So it was just kind of funny how he thought about it. But, yeah, it's like Earth, Wind, and Fire called, and they wanted to use me, and they called Prince, because they go, "Well, can we have this guy's number? We really like his work." And I think that was kind of the beginning of the end for me. When you got Earth, Wind, and Fire calling Prince. Me, about his photography.
I guess it's hard to say what might have happened. He disbanded the Revolution not long after that and kind of, made a clean slate across the board. So, it's hard to say if maybe that would have happened to you or not. I guess you never know with a guy like Prince.
Yeah, you never know. And, and it worked out fine, I love the images after him. Steve Park, I really like his work, and Shafidi, I like his work too. So, and we're all good friends. So, it's all good. We all meet at the celebration when Prince has a celebration at Paisley Park. We all get together, and it's fun to talk over all, because we're all photographers and we're all friends, and it's good to talk things over with those guys. They're different experiences because they had different experiences than I did, because I had him when he was really young, and that's why we were friends. And with them, they were more clients.
Well, and it seems like the position that you are in, and just the photographers in general, but especially you, maybe even got closer to him than, the band members or anybody else that was on his team, because you were, there in a lot of, one-on-one instances when everyone else had gone home.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that happened quite a few times. As a matter of fact, he lost his license for a while, and so I had to drive him around everywhere, which is, it'd be ridiculous for anybody to say, Prince sat right next to me in my car, the superstar guy, now, but back then it was different. He was still growing, and he wasn't Purple Rain Prince yet, if you know what I mean.
Well, did you stay in touch with him much after that? I mean, had you seen him more recently?
I think the last time I did see him was he was doing the film Graffiti Bridge at Paisley Park, and he had his management call me and said, Prince wants you to come out and see him, and I went, okay, yeah. So I went out, and I thought they were filming a scene, so I was like ducking way down, and he came up behind me and just gave me a great big bear hug, and we hugged, and if I'd known that was the last time I was going to see him, I would have hugged him a lot harder, if you know what I mean. But life happens, But I had a good career. I mean, worked for Rolling Stone for 5 years, and did some IndyCar shooting, yeah, I had a 40-year career, so I have nothing to be ashamed about, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. Again, the book Prince Before the Rain is out now, and the stuff in the book is great, and a lot of the other stuff you've done over the years with other artists as well. Do you see yourself maybe making another book, putting some other people in maybe a volume 2?
Yeah, we might. We've been talking about it, and we'll just cross our fingers on that. But yeah, I have a lot more film and a lot more rock stars, so we'll see what happens.
So I imagine you must own the rights to all these. He didn't make you sign over any of these photos. That's surprising considering how kind of tight-knit he was with his stuff.
Well, yeah, it was, I think that's why my experience was different from him, is I had no contract with him or with Warner Brothers. Actually, Prince just hired me, just would call me up, because that's how close we were. And so when I was done, and I knew I was done, I just sent everything to the Library of Congress and copyrighted everything, and so I own everything. I do that to all my photos, though, even after Prince I did that. So it's not like just I did this just for him, but that's just the photography business.
No, it's definitely the smart way to do it. And, it's great that you did, because the book, again, Prince Before the Rain, is amazing. And I'm hoping maybe to speak with you again sometime if we see another book or two come out.
Oh, yeah, love to. And where are you from again?
I'm from Mankato, so not too far from the cities.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Well, yeah, let's please keep in touch. Not far away at all.
Excellent. Before I let you go, Alan, can you give the listeners maybe a place where they can get more information or check out some more of your work?
Well, not really. I'm retired now. So, I don't have like well, I do have a website, but it's not really current, and I'd hate to send people there to, so I'm kind of retired, and but I do have film that might be coming out in the book too. We never know. So keep your eyes open, I guess.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And again, Alan, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad to be speaking with you.
Okay, you take care. Thank you.
All right, you too. Thanks, man.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.